Hello my friend, I'm Stella, and here on my channel we talk about spirituality, magic and how to live our best lives. In this video I would like to talk with you about life lessons and how they can sometimes make us feel as if we are stuck. Actually, there are huge benefits to life lessons and we are meant to experience them here. So if you're experiencing a difficult time, then it doesn't mean you are stuck, and we'll get into why that is in this video. Before we get into that though, let's just talk about a few examples of how life lessons might show up in our lives, just so that you know how to identify them. It's often when we feel stuck in a certain area of our lives and we notice a pattern that keeps repeating itself and similar issues that just keep showing up again and again, and then you think it's over and that issue is dealt with, and then it happens again and again, just maybe a little differently every time. And this could be in any area of life, so it may be that you're attracting a certain type of romantic partner who you really don't want to attract. You're actually looking for someone else, something else, ideally in a partner, but somehow a similar type of person keeps showing up, and that's who you attract every time. Or it could be a difficult financial situation that just keeps coming back, like you deal with it and then something else comes up. Just similar situations that repeat themselves. It could be in any area of life really. It could also be in other types of relationships, maybe with family, or it could have to do with your health. It could really be, like I said, any area of your life, and we all deal with different life lessons. When these challenges in our lives occur, it can feel as if we are stuck, but I hope that after watching this video you will know that it's not that you feel that you are stuck. It can feel this way, but once you realize that this is actually a lesson that you are meant to experience and that is helping you grow, then you can actually transmute this situation and dissolve this issue and pass the lesson, so to speak. So what are life lessons on a spiritual level? Like many other people in the spiritual community, I believe that our souls decide what types of lessons it wants us to experience here in this lifetime, even before we incarnate. And so there is a certain blueprint that is all mapped out before we are even born. And this is not out of ill intent or because our souls want to tease us. That's actually for our and our soul's benefit, because we learn something going through these different experiences and lessons, and so our soul learns and expands, and that's the whole purpose of life on earth here. That's why we decided to come here, because it would be fun to experience. And if you think about it, it really would be boring if everything would always work out like that and you just need to make a wish and it happens instantly. Because in certain areas of our lives we are, some of us are struggling a bit. That's why we think, oh, it would be so cool if it could just happen like that. But if it constantly would be the case, then there would really be no point to this. One way of looking at it is, if you play a video game and it's a new game and you just start with level 1 and you put it on the easiest setting because you just want to see how it works, and then you just fly through level 1 and it was so easy, you probably wouldn't repeat level 1 on the easy setting. You would just either increase the difficulty level, or you would just play through the levels and they would get increasingly difficult, and that's the fun of it, right? And I believe our lives here are kind of like video games for our souls, and that doesn't mean that we are just playing things or something like that. It's just meant to be this way, and it's actually meant to be fun in a way. And I hope that once you understand that this is not something that's happening to you but for you, that then maybe you can see the lighter side of it and see that it's actually for your benefit, and that although it isn't fun all the time, of course it isn't, it can be once you get through a lesson and you know that you have done this by looking inside and transforming it, and you have completely transmuted the situation. You yourself, just through your inner power that every single one of us has. That's just, to me, so satisfying, and honestly makes me feel appreciation for having come here to experience all this. Acknowledging that there are certain lessons for us to relearn here is so empowering, because now we realize that we aren't the victim of a situation, but that we are meant to experience certain things, and that these things are created to help us grow and live our full potential. And that's really good. If you look at a difficult situation and you know that this is happening for you and not to you, that's the shift that will change everything. And so if you're into astrology, or if you're curious about it, that is a great tool that helps you look at your blueprint, the actual blueprint that I was talking about, which you can see in your astrological natal chart. So if that's something that you're curious about, you can look into that, and it might help you understand what your lessons are. And to me, it just gave me another sense of awareness that I'm meant to experience these things, and it really empowered me, because I could see there in this chart that yes, I'm meant to experience this, and this is going to help me to become the person I'm meant to be. And this just completely shifted my mindset, and I got out of the victim mentality and into the attitude that life is happening for me. I really love the channel Astrofinesse. This astrologer is just really knowledgeable, and he focuses on understanding yourself through astrology. So these aren't predictions or anything like that. He has so many helpful videos that teach you what this planet in a certain place in your chart means, and it just helps you understand yourself and your life. And so if you're curious about astrology, I highly recommend you check out his channel. And even if you don't know anything about it, you can just go all the way to the bottom and learn everything from scratch. If you're not someone who's interested in astrology, don't worry at all. You don't need astrology to understand all this. The fact that you are here watching a video such as this tells me that you're someone who is quite spiritual, and so all you need to do is just get in tune with your higher self, and through practices like meditation. I know everyone's saying this, but it's just so valuable. So through practices like meditation, you just learn how to tune into your intuition, and so you will be able to hear it more clearly day by day. And through listening to your intuition, you will overcome any challenges that life presents you with. If you are faced with many challenges in your life, please don't be discouraged. I know it isn't easy, but many people say that this is an indication that you are an old soul, and I truly believe that nothing is in your blueprint that you don't have the power to overcome. All the power is within you, and you just need to access it to work through these challenges. What can be frustrating to us is when life lessons repeat themselves, and they tend to do that. But if you think about it, in school we never really learned something the first time. They didn't just tell us something once and expected us to properly learn it and remember it forever. That's why in school they repeated lessons, so that we could process them and understand them. And it's the same with these life lessons. So we really need to understand them, integrate them, and make sure that we learn from them. And I believe as soon as you acknowledge these challenges in life as life lessons, as soon as you do that, they will shift and much faster. That will stop them from repeating endlessly. But if we ignore them, then yes, I believe they will just come back over and over again. But the good news is you acknowledge now and that this is something that's happening for you, and so it won't repeat itself forever, I promise. It can feel sometimes like we are stuck when similar situations reoccur, but I look at it something like this, that like this spiral is our life, and this is a certain lesson. Now there can be several, but it is just what it is. And our life is this upward spiral, and we encounter the lesson, and then we live our life, and for a moment, maybe for a while, we don't deal with it, or it's not really something that's a pressuring issue in our life, and then it returns. But now we are a little bit higher, so we look at it from a different perspective. We already learned something. It's not that we start from scratch. And so again, we're living our lives, and maybe this issue isn't present at the moment, but then it reoccurs, and now we're here. So we're again looking at it from an even higher perspective, and we have learned something. That's what's happening if you acknowledge these lessons as something that you're meant to experience and something that's happening for you. And so every time you experience it, you have learned something new, and eventually you've just overcome it. So that's how I imagine it, and I hope this just gives you peace of mind knowing that this isn't going to go on forever, because you are doing the inner work, and you're connected to your guides and your higher self, who are always supporting you. And one more thing I'd like to leave with you: try to appreciate the areas of your life that are running very smoothly and effortlessly. We tend to totally forget about those. I've been there, I'm guilty of this, absolutely. But if we appreciate those areas in our lives, even if it's just a tiny area in our life that we think isn't very important, just appreciate how smoothly everything is always going for you in this area. And this will also help you with the other areas in your life, and will make them go more smoothly. So my friend, I'm sending you so much love. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big like for me. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos. Also comment below your thoughts on this, if you feel inspired to share your experiences or your tips on how to deal with life lessons. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. Bye.